What is up, you freaky folks? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things horror. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's time for monthly recommendations for all of our favorite streaming services, and while Peacock might be the most unused of them all, I keep coming up with good lists of recommendations for you guys. If they're gonna keep putting good stuff on the service, I'm gonna keep telling you about it. And you know this month I gathered a whole bunch of picks that are perfect for Halloween season. And I want to start out with an honorable mention because they have the anthology genre series Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which is essentially the Diet Twilight Zone. I know a whole lot of people aren't going to be interested in a black and white show from the 60s, but it's from the master himself, so if you can get into it, you'll surely have a good time. Number 10 is Doom, a mid-2000s video game adaptation that stars The Rock and Carl Urban as members of an elite task force who are sent to Mars, where a scientific facility has become overrun by monsters. It's like Alien meets Predator in the best worst B-movie way possible. I've never played the game, so I can't speak to it as an adaptation, but I'd say that first-person sequence is worth watching for alone. Number 9 is Death Race, a violent action movie where a group of prisoners are forced to participate in a race for freedom where only one of them makes it out alive. I love the 70s original Death Race 2000, and this is a fun as hell Jason Statham flick with plenty of gory action. Number 8 is The Crush, a stalker thriller starring Saw's Carrie Elwes as a writer who stays in the guest house on a family's property where their teenage daughter, played by a pre-clueless Alicia Silverstone, becomes infatuated with him. This is a pretty standard creeper movie, but it has everything us fans are looking for, and while it's disturbing, it explores what happens when your stalker happens to be a youngster, which is ultra freaky. Number 7 is The Grudge, a supernatural thriller, a remake of the Japanese classic that stars my favorite Scream Queen Sarah Michelle Gellar as an American nurse in Tokyo who becomes linked to a haunted house with a violent past. I would recommend the original over this version, but I'm sure many of you grew up with it because I remember what a big deal it was when it came out. I personally think it's kind of uneven and shitty, but I love everything Sarah Michelle Gellar is in, so I have to recommend it. I'm gonna cheat with number 6 to recommend all of the old school Universal monster movies. They have favorites like Dracula, The Invisible Man, and The Bride of Frankenstein, plus plenty of the other sequels. There are some of the classic ones like Frankenstein and the Wolfman behind that premium paywall, but you can still find plenty of these to watch for free. Now again, I know a lot of people aren't into the old school stuff, but these are perfect for Halloween time. If there was ever a time to give these a watch just for the sake of it, now would be it. Just try and tell me the original Invisible Man doesn't hold up, because I disagree. Number 5 is Lost Highway, a dramatic thriller from the one and only David Lynch. Bill Pullman stars as a man who begins to receive strange videotapes that appear to show someone stalking him and his wife. But then it turns into something completely different and it's totally unexplained, and this is probably only going to be for David Lynch fans. But if you can get into it, this is one of the weirdest movies you'll ever see. Number 4 is Serial Mom, a John Waters comedy starring Kathleen Turner as a suburban housewife who leads a secret double life as a serial killer who targets anyone who speaks ill of her family. This is a hysterically satirical look at one woman's fight for perfection, and few movies try to pull off this tone with this subject matter, but it's executed with the energy only John Waters has. Number 3 is Sinister, a supernatural horror film starring Ethan Hawke as a true crime writer who moves his family into a house where a grisly crime occurred in order to assemble his next book. After discovering a box of film reels in the attic, the whole family is threatened by an unspeakable evil. I think Sinister is one of the scariest movies of all time. The film reels are so disturbing and they don't diminish effect on rewatch. If you're looking for a real scare this Halloween, Sinister should be at the top of your watch list. I'd say don't watch it alone, but definitely watch it alone. Turn out the lights, have all the nightmares. Number 2 is Dawn of the Dead from 2004. This action horror remake is about a group of people who barricade themselves in a mall while trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. This movie hits the ground running and keeps things thrilling throughout. It might not be the original, but this is the type of action horror that we don't get enough of. If you're looking for gory thrills, Dawn of the Dead is the movie for you. Number 1 is It Follows. I know this movie movie has its haters, but back off, because this is one of my all-time favorites. A young woman has a sexual encounter with a man who passes on an entity to her, an entity that takes the form of anyone, and it will follow her until it catches and kills her. While it sounds like the STD horror film on paper, It Follows is thrilling with original writing, believable acting, and enough atmosphere to give you anxiety for days. I know this doesn't work for everyone because that's how movies work in general, but if you do like it, this one has all of the fall vibes that make it perfect for Halloween. And now I have to throw out my bad movie recommendation of the month, and this is the only time that I could ever possibly recommend House of the Dead, a 2000s video game adaptation about people stuck on an island fighting zombies. This movie is so bad, it's bad, but it is so ridiculous I can't help but have fun with it. I like laughing at bad movies, so if you do too, you might have a good time with it. Also, if you're just looking for some extra quick genre recommendations, they also have Mama, a supernatural thriller that I can't stand, but I know some people like it. They also have The Exorcist 3, a sequel that I need to give another watch because people have been talking about it forever, and it didn't really click with me when I watched it, but maybe I just need to watch it again. The Haunting in Connecticut is another movie that other people like that I just don't, but then there's a movie like Hollow Man that I like and no one likes. But there's also Pitch Black, a creature feature that I'm totally into, and Jigsaw, probably the most whatever Saw movie that exists. It's like, okay, I guess you can exist, Jigsaw. Lastly, I have to point out Elvira's Movie Macabre. I'm sure I'm the only person that would watch these, but I love Elvira. That's awesome. Thank you, Peacock. And thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments, and let me know what you're watching this Halloween season. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any creepy content. Thank you guys so much once again. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.